guys, how are you? I hope you're all doing very well. This afternoon I'm going to be doing another movie review. This movie is a horror film from the UK, English language, released in the year 2016, directed by Colin McCarthy, and this film is called The Girl with All the Gifts. So The Girl with All the Gifts is set in the near future. The world has been decimated by this virus that has been handed down by a fungus that infects the brain and turns people into bloodthirsty zombies. So you've got this underground army base that have actually come across these children. Now these children appear to be human, but they have the consequences that the fungus brings. And so they've got the urges of a zombie, but they've still got enough capacity to operate as a human, which gives this doctor the hope that this virus can have an antidote. Basically, the virus can have a cure that can actually bring back the human population. So they're going through classes to see, the capacity of their brain, and this teacher gets a fond connection with this girl. Now, this girl appears to be the only one in this class that can resist her urges to some extent, and so she appears to be a very special person. But then there's a horrible event that takes place which causes this army base to turn into chaos, and a group of survivors along with this little girl, they go out into the wilderness, and they're going to have to basically make a run for it because they're being pursued by these bloodthirsty maniacs. And so they've got to try and get to a safe place because this doctor that's with this group wants to conduct tests on this girl because she believes, as I said, she has the cure. But then this is where the teacher believes that this doctor has evil intentions. So not only do they have to fight off the oncoming horde, but they've also got to fight off themselves as a tale of betrayal is about to come into the mix. So what happens at that point on? Something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on The Girl with All the Gifts. By far the best part of this film is the performances. I thought, as a production is concerned and as an acting performances are concerned, this one really does set itself apart from the rest of the subgenre of zombie films, in that you've got some very well-known actors, Paddy Considine, you've got Gemma Atherton, you've also got Glenn Close. But I thought the person who stole the show in this film was the young girl. I can't recall her name right now, but she does a very good job at portraying someone that is very relevant to today's society. Now, in today's society, you've got a lot of stigma. Now, whether it's with mental illness or even HIV, you've got this stigma that you can treat them as almost non-human, is that you push them and you have them at arm's length and you don't really give them a go. And I thought this movie summed that up perfectly in a horror sense, in that this girl has this zombie sort of capacity, but she's also got this human capacity which actually shines through. It actually gives her sympathetic qualities because she wants to be a normal person. She didn't ask for this, but she has this ailment that has been thrust upon her, and as a result she is being basically tormented by these other people who deem her as someone that basically is very unfair. And so I thought that was a very thought-provoking element that the movie has. I don't know whether or not that was deliberate, but that's what I thought, in that you've got this young girl who wants to be a young girl, but because of her circumstances she can't be, and that she's not going to be looked upon by her other people as the person that she really wants to be. So therefore you get the sympathetic quality with this character, and that's why I think the movie does have a little bit of depth, and more depth than I thought it would be. I thought the chemistry between this young girl and this teacher was fantastic. The teacher is played by Gemma Atherton. I thought the chemistry was there, and I thought that this teacher really understood what this girl was all about, and they were trying to fight the rest of the world. Basically, it's stigma versus innocence, and how that innocence can be corroded and can be thrust upon. And the way that this young girl transforms into this innocent girl into a girl of survival was actually quite sad. Is that you can actually support what she's doing, but because she's doing it because of the circumstances. So the circumstances really are a villain in this film. So the cinematography was absolutely fantastic. It reminded me of 28 Days Later, where you got that strange sense of hopelessness. You actually felt that this was an apocalyptic world. You felt that there was no hope, and so it's a movie that does make you feel very down. Through the score as well, I thought the score was absolutely brilliant. So all of that contributes to an atmosphere that I thought was very, very horrific, and I thought that the way that the movie was shot gives you that sense of apocalypse, and so it really does fit the mood that the movie wants. I thought there were some action set pieces that were very, very creepy. I thought the first 20 minutes of this film was absolutely fantastic because there's a lot of vagueness. It doesn't explain to you what is going on with these children. You know that they're dangerous because of the behaviour of these military personnel, but because you don't know exactly what these children are capable of, it makes you start to go through your mind as to what's going on. And that vagueness and that mysterious quality is by far the scariest part of this film, is because, okay, what is going on? It's not explained to you, so your imagination is running wild, and I thought that the way the movie started was absolutely fantastic. And then there are some set pieces of horror towards the later stages of the film, especially one scene inside these woods that I thought was superbly done. It really did creep under my skin. And so the movie does play very well, and as I said, the performances are by far the best part of this movie. Is that you got some very good actors, and I thought the actors had enough space and time to really flesh out their characters into a role where you think that these actors had enough material to demonstrate how good they really are. Unfortunately though, however, although you've got a lot of positives to this film, I don't share the love for the movie based on the simple fact that once the vagueness at the start of this movie is gone, this is where it starts to go downhill. When the actual movie takes place outside the army base, this is where it turns into a very, very generic horror film, and it really does run out of steam, and it does collapse by the time the movie finishes. Is that you've got some moments that there's a lot of exposition, and I thought the exposition in this film really contradicted the vague, mysterious quality that the start of the movie had, and that because everything is explained to you, you know what's going on, there's a certain sense of control, and because there's a certain sense of control, you feel safe, you feel like you're in a world where you can actually know what's going to happen next. And because of that, I was very disappointed, because the first 20 minutes of this movie, you don't know what's going on, you don't have any control, anything could happen, and that is what's scary. But then when you know what's going to happen, when you know what's around the next corner, this is where it starts to fall down rapidly, and this is why I think it's a very overrated film. And it's a great shame, is because there's a lot of qualities about this movie that are very good. I thought the ending was very ridiculous. There are some moments where you think to yourself, no, just stop right now, because you're really, really damaging what the fine start that the movie had. But that's unfortunate, and in the end what you get is a movie that does promise to be something a little bit different within this, the zombie subgenre, but in the end what it is a movie that just did run out of unique ideas, and it's not quite as unique as it really wanted to be. So it's a generic zombie film that isn't really that special. It did have moments, and it did have ingredients to make a recipe for a very tasty film, but in the end what it is a movie that just didn't quite have enough legs to get over the finish line, and that was a great shame. So overall, for The Girl with All the Gifts, I'm only going to give this one 2.5 stars. Go out there and see it, but once again, it is a little bit of a disappointment. Alright guys, that's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching movies, and I'll see you later.